Well, it's the start of the new year, and why not make the first movie of 2026 I saw probably end up on my worst list of 2026. A TUBI original film I saw constant ads for. Getting ahead of the game is usually a safe bet. Much like this movie is the definition of a safe bet. Actually, what this movie feels like, it's made from people watching Alex Meyer videos to put together the exact movie he would talk about. As this movie, and I say this never having seen non-narrative movie, but I'm pretty sure it's the exact movie they were making fun of. But, it's made 25 years later, so I haven't seen it to compare it. So on its own, How to Lose a Popularity Contest, I gotta remember the title right when I put it on my worst list, is an atrocious film. Okay, saying all that, it's the start of a new year, I shouldn't be pessimistic. I still love film, and sure, the film industry right now is at an interesting point, but hey, as much as you guys tolerate me looking at my laptop while I do these reviews, I want to still give my honest opinion and be fair in judgment, because that's what being a film fan is, being fair. So the premise of this movie is that Sarah Weisglass starts as a perfectionist know-all named Ellie, who is sometimes bullied by the school's dumb but most popular student Nate Reed, played by Chase Hudson. He's up a TikTok thing. I don't use TikTok. I'm one of those cool 20-year-olds. Anyways, it's because he calls her Max because he pranked her in middle school looking like she had a period and needed a maxi pad. Oh no. Anyways, so now that they're in high school, Ellie, being so self-centered and high-strung, ignores her boyfriend Rowan's needs as she makes fun of him for wanting to run for school president, while at the same time, Nate's girlfriend Quinn breaks up with him for not being serious enough. So Ellie convinces Nate to run for school president so he can prove how easy it is to Rowan somehow that it's a pointless contest, and this will win him over to her. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, and also for Nate, it'll get Quinn back, but in the process, sparks kind of fly between Ellie and Nate. Yeah, if you can tell from my glowing description, the plot is, and I mean it's every high school teen film from, and I haven't seen them, so these are just the premise, so I already know that these premises are borrowed, but she is all that, or 10 Reasons Why I Hate You. But to be fair, I haven't seen those movies, so without calling this movie cliche in comparison, how do I judge this film on its own? It's still cliche about every other romantic comedy I've ever seen. Look, the camera work is generic, and the performances are average at best. Sarah is okay enough, though she cries a single tear way too many times, and Chase Hudson is average at best, though the main linchpin for a romantic comedy is the chemistry. And these two just don't have it, since all they really have in common is being good-looking, and while they have enough for a friendship, wanting to support each other's dream isn't the exact same thing of, a romance. I don't know, I don't really buy the end where it's like, oh, they're playing Dungeons & Dragons here. Yeah, Chase Hudson looks like he plays Dungeons & Dragons. Because these are where all the cliches come in. You got people thinking they're cheating on each other when obviously they're not. You got playing called out, not going to work, yet they do it anyways because, characters who seem like they will do fine without the intervention of others, so I don't really care. Oh no, your father doesn't support you drawing comics and wants you to run his car dealership when you grow up. Oh, pity. Okay, look, the main thing I hated was Ellie's character, who is such a woe-is-me type, since for me, I don't know, being nicknamed Max, I mean, it's a normal name. It can be short for Maxine. And I get it. I wouldn't like to be called Kevin out of nowhere every day of my life. But, there are worse things in the world. And I know. It's just a movie. It's whatever. So, obviously, I'm not offended or anything. It's just... No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say I'm not offended as the crutch of all this. What I'm getting at is her plan to get Nate elected, then scandalize him so Rowan becomes president. Damn the consequences. But she feels bad later, so... Oh no, throw that breakup, even though I probably would do the same if I found out my girlfriend would plan this behind my back. I don't care about Nate either, since, oh no, you can't make comic books where you are a rhino and have a laminated, no-time, full-length comic book made for Ellie. Oh no. And then this gets you in the major arts program. Okay, look, I know it's meant to be cheesy and not to be taken too seriously, but my god. Look, this movie is just predictable to start to finish, and saying it's adequate enough despite a boring presentation and uninspired execution feels like a movie made by a studio now on every page, or at least made to compete with other high school coming-of-age films on Netflix, despite TUBI not standing a chance in comparison. Look, I feel very negative, and I do think, at the bare minimum, there's enough for people who enjoy these tropes to see the movie as average or cheesy or mediocre, but I absolutely loathed it at the end. And I say this as someone who loves schmaltz in their film. Because when Ellie is like, am I the bad guy? When she just goes on this generic rant to someone who's like, I think we're above the people that we go to school with. And she's like, oh my god, woe is me. And then she just gives up her scholarship because she feels bad. Like, you're not going to regret it a week later when it's like, oh, we made peace. It's not that bad. And I say this as in, I didn't like that much about it, but at the same time, it's not like, oh no. I wasted my time with this. I mean, it's a waste of time, but it's not an atrocious waste of time. It's an atrocious film nonetheless. As a comedy, I laughed once when Nate's dumb privileged sidekick out of nowhere says he misses his dad since there was a running bit about his father being investigated for money laundering. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. Everything else, no one talks like this. And the movie is unaware these aren't how people talk, nor these characters talk unnaturally. So it also has a subplot, not really, with Ellie's friends wanting to put on this Macbeth play with so much production that I'm like, you know, why are you guys in charge of this? And also, there's no payoff with it. It isn't like at the end they go see the final Macbeth play. They just have a scene where she reads Macbeth and she compares herself to Macbeth. And I'm like, this movie has not earned comparing itself to Macbeth. And look, the movie doesn't earn an inch of anything that it tries to go for. The movie is nothing to me other than a list of cliches and boring waste of time that for the intended audience, it may work as a background movie, and I don't think this movie was made badly, but it feels lazy to the minimum to be mediocre. For me, the end result is so boring. I hated so many of these characters. The film feels like it's generic as possible just to be a quota, and I never want to watch it again. And while it won't probably be the most insulting film of 2026, it might just be the most lazy by the end of it all. So I give How to Lose a Popularity Contest a 2.5 out of 10. Well, now let's talk about a good movie. The Rip is a new Netflix film that isn't about bad comedy about farts. No. It's actually a crime thriller, and shockingly, the first really good film of 2026 so far. I mean, I've been going back and forth about, do I describe this movie as really good or a great film? But certainly, it's a great start and a welcome one for sure. While Joe Carnahan, who wrote and directed this film, has a mixed but more positive than negative, well-received action filmography, say that 5 times fast, though I'd only seen Cop Shop, the movie is built for its stars. Iconic duo Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Though to be fair, the only marketing I saw of this movie was when Damon and Affleck were jealous of Cookie Monster, and Affleck said about how, was it Damon? Whatever. Actually, no, I think, and I should make this clear, my review won't be muddled by stuff Matt Damon or Ben Affleck said about how Netflix handles films. But regardless, I should probably talk about my opinion of the movie. And, I think after doing this for so many years, I need to be straightforward and honest with you guys as I read off this written script. So with that said, what's the movie about? Well, focus on a group of Miami-Dade cops who've been following the mysterious death of their captain, her former second-in-command Lieutenant Dane Damon, and Sergeant J.D. Byrne, played by Ben Affleck, lead other detectives on the Tactical Narcotics team, played by Tiana Taylor, Stephen Yeun, and Catalina Sedina Moreno, as they receive a tip that in Sasha Cal's character's house, there's just too many names I won't remember. Anyways, there's more illegal money there than they know what to do with, and what results is a night of mistrust and potential betrayal as everyone's on edge, unsure if they'll try to do the right thing or become corrupted by greed and secrets to steal the cash for themselves. It's a simple crime thriller that takes place over one night as it's set from dusk till dawn with great execution. I think it sells that. It's a film with great care used to make, but, as a whole, it's really good, which sounds like a negative. It's not. I mean, just because it's a really good film doesn't mean it's a bad film. It's just not a great film. What holds it back is, in my opinion, being a bit too simple at points, as it was predictable some of the twists would be. I won't say who, but this is the second Netflix film released in January where this actor plays the twist villain. So from 2025 to 2026 to 2027, this actor might do 3 times this role, so it becomes a cliche in this month. Anyway, so while some of the twists I saw coming, the movie does an amazing job making sure who to trust and not trust, mostly thanks to the fantastic cinematography and some of the best use of lighting, and I've seen it on straight to Netflix film in a while, especially towards the third act. The movie is serious and never tries to be self-aware or on the nose, rather it knows how to play it straight and deliver it without winking to the audience, which sounds like the bare minimum, but, I appreciate it. And I do think, as I said, the best thing about the film is the craft of it all. The script itself is good, though sometimes it feels a bit too on the nose with explaining the twist. Like when it's revealed who killed the first captain, a character both explains it and we're shown a flashback when I think one of the two would be enough, i.e. less is more. There's also an injury one cop gets and well treated. I don't know, by the end of that movie, that character should probably still go to the hospital regardless, but whatever. It's nitpicking more than anything. The main issue I have with the film is despite some of the on-the-nose moments, is that the characters can be a bit too thinly written to feel interesting on a rewatch. Like, there is enough for you to be unsure what's going on a first watch, but on a rewatch, especially with the flashbacks, probably won't feel satisfying putting the puzzle together, sort of like how you watch a Knives Out film and you're like, you see all the clues there. The most we get to know about this supporting cast of detectives is one as a kid, and we honestly don't really know enough about Sasha Cal's character to really care about what happens to her at the end. I mean, you know, she gives a great performance. The whole cast gives a good performance. It's just not the most interesting characters to play off of. Mostly Damon and Affleck are the characters who, I mean, well, not the characters. Their names are on Damon and Affleck. And I don't just see them as Damon and Affleck in the movie because they do give great performances, but the characters are just fine. You know, it's written there to be just get them from point A to point B. But it's definitely something we're getting from point A to point B. You know how they say the journey, it's about the journey, not the destination? Yeah, it's not like it's a disappointing finale or anything. The third act is great. It has great action and all. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, and how do I put this? It's a B movie that has A-level effort put into it. While some actors get more to do and more interesting exploration, and I can't say who significantly beyond what I've already said because of spoilers, this nonetheless delivers mostly on being a solid action thriller that might not say much about, you know, everything. This movie nonetheless delivers mostly on being a solid action thriller that has Affleck and Damon's great chemistry and great use of lighting and camera work to showcase Netflix is more than just generic garbage. And not enough to buy Warner Bros., but that's neither here nor there. Overall, though, the main takeaway of the film for me is with a good cast of performances, even if not all the cast gets to shine, everyone gives it their all and has a remarkable energy to be in the moment and feel satisfying by the end of it all. Sure, I thought the final line was a little, but whatever. Okay, I didn't hate the final line. Again, it's all about just being a bit on the nose, but honestly, I don't mind it. Subtlety is important when it comes to just trying to say something deeper, and this movie isn't about being that deep. It's more about just being entertaining, which sometimes you just need a film to be entertaining, and that's what I needed at the moment. It's nowhere near top tier, but for what it tries to be, it ranks high for what it is. It's a solid movie. It's a solid movie night action thriller with effort and sincerity in all the right places, and that is what The Rip succeeds at most. And at best, I would give The Rip a 7.5 out of 10.